No luck on the shades, but I got the next best thing. All right. Welcome back to the Fight Pit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for joining us. As always, it is so good to see you. We here, the boys in the house, every single UFC fight card, we got you today. We are covering UFC 309, Jones versus Miocic, going down Saturday, November 16th at MSG. Intro music. We back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us. We are the Fight Pit, and we are here covering every single UFC card that the universe has to offer. We got you with the predictions, the breakdowns, the picks, the banter, the recaps, anything that you need. It's right here. Today, we got some staples, of course. You know it. It is my birthday card. Oh shit. Oh. Sorry, I had some trouble seeing the microphone in these glasses. Today we are celebrating my birthday, celebrating Veterans Day, and just all around celebrating being here in the Fight Pit with you guys. Nothing I would rather be doing, nowhere I would rather be. If you guys are not familiar, my name is Andrew, and I like to talk about mixed martial arts. We also have Drew Bronx holding it down over on the East Coast, and also on the East Coast we got heavyweight champion Drew holding it down downstairs. Just every single Drew that you could ask for, we got you covered. Drew Bronx, aka 12 Gauge, how you doing today, my brother?
It is another good day. Happy Veterans Day to everyone else who served today. I enjoyed getting my free meal. Hope everyone capitalized. If you've been in, you know what that's all. Get your money's worth.
That is, I have not served. I come from a half military family as well, though, and you guys, thank you so much for your service. You deserve every single bit of it. Heavyweight champ Drew downstairs, aka Sean Ryan Sports. How you doing today, my guy?
Doing pretty good. Happy Veterans Day to everyone that has served, and happy birthday, Drew.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Like I said, that's nowhere that I would rather be. If they were like, you could do anything, you could be anywhere, you can spend your birthday however you want. This is what I'm choosing, baby. This is what I'm choosing. I'm choosing hanging with the boys and talking about some fucking fights, bro. We cover in UFC 309. Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. It has been rescheduled. There was some injuries, there was some pullouts, there was some issues, but as of right now, it is on, and we are here, and we are getting it. So, fingers crossed, folks. Fingers crossed. Let's get through this fight week smoothly. You guys just hang with us on the Fight Pit channel. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't step on any cracks or anything. And hopefully, we're gonna get through to this one. We also have Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler rematch going down on this one, bro. Good lord. And as well as just several other fights that are awesome, but we all know those are the two that we are tuning in for. That's the reason we are here, is those two fights. Thank goodness. Before we get too deep into the episode, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is the online ticket marketplace where fans can buy and sell tickets to sports events, concerts, and theater events nationwide. Oh, that's a really tough accent to hold. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate the commitment to the bit.
I haven't haven't really ever needed glasses or anything, so it's taken a little bit of a toll, but we're gonna get there. You guys commit, I'm committing, I'm going all the way in. Vivid Seats, reliable and rewarding tickets. They have a 100% buyer guarantee, plus the only ticket rewards program around. Vivid Seats is empowering every fan to get to the live events that shape their most vivid moments and memories. They are committed to getting you to the events you love more easily and more often. 1 million plus unique and in-demand events sold on their site. 19 million plus pump fans have found their event tickets through Vivid Seats, and 140 million plus memory-making tickets sold. So thank you, as always, to Vivid Seats. You can click the link in our description. We'll take you straight there. Get your tickets and enjoy yourself. Make some memories. Speaking of tickets, what's the Gage? What's the most recent sporting event that you got tickets to?
Recent sporting event. I got the Jet game last in September, home opener.
Jet game, boom. Sean, how about you? What's the
We were just actually talking, trying to get Sean to go with me to the Devils-Panthers game down here Thursday.
There you go. Sean, have you been to any sporting events in recent memory?
ECHL, the Florida Everblades. I went there Friday, and then Sunday saw Gabriel Iglesias.
Bam, there you go. Tickets, baby, tickets. Vivid Seats got you. Everything that you could ask for. They got you covered. So thank you so much to Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats, we love you. Appreciate you for sponsoring the episode as always. And now we are going to get into the entire UFC 309. That's how we do it, folks. Every pay-per-view event, we cover the card top to bottom. We are kicking it off with Veronica Hardy versus Eduarda Moura. I'm going to take the honors on this one. Veronica Hardy fighting a women's flyweight fight, fighting out of MMA Factory. She has a 9-4 record, 1 KO win, 2 submission wins, 6 decision wins. She is riding a 3-fight win streak, and she's 4-1 in her last 5. Last time out was in May of this year. She defeated JJ Aldrich by unanimous decision. Eduarda Moura, aka Ronda, not sure if that's an official nickname, fighting out of Galpao da Luta. She has a 10-1 record, very respectable, 4 KO wins, 5 submissions, and 1 decision win. She is coming off a loss to Diniz Gomez back in June of this year. But prior to that, she had a very respectable win streak going. Very respectable. 10-fight win streak to kick off the career. So very, very solid fight to open up the card. I'm going to keep this one very short, very sweet. The opening odds have Veronica Hardy at a 175. I do like Veronica Hardy in this fight, but she has been spotty. Not the cleanest start to the UFC career, but she's been around for quite a while. She's riding a 3-fight win streak. Her last loss was B. Malecki back in 2020. She took some time off, picked it up back again in 2023, and she rattled off 3 decision wins in a row. This one, I don't think there's going to be too many surprises. There are some knockout wins between them. Eduarda is rocking 4 knockout wins and 5 submission wins. She does have finishing capabilities. This one, I do not anticipate a finish. Her last finish was 2023 in Dana White Contender Series. It was a submission. I do think that if she is able to get a hold of Veronica Hardy early while they're still dry and fresh, I think that she might be able to put it together. This one, I think the odds could probably be a little bit closer. I personally wouldn't put Veronica Hardy that much of a favorite, but for the sake of a pick on this one, I'm going to choose Veronica Hardy. but I highly recommend you do not bet on that one. This one, I like it going to a decision. Official pick, I'm going to say Veronica Hardy, and the rounds, I'm going to say over 1.5, absolutely. But the bet that I would take on this one, I would say over 1.5 as well. I'm going to kick it over to Gagemus Maximus on this one. He's going to let us know about Bassil Hafez versus Oban Elliott.
If you watch the UFC 304 card in the UK, this is the last time we saw the Welsh gangster himself, Oban Elliott. He looked very impressive in that fight. Yes, it went to decision, but he was high pressure, high volume and striking, good quick hands, had a lot of power behind him. And Bassil didn't look great. He did win his last outing, but I don't like his chances going against Oban Elliott, who's 11-2. I think the odds are closer than they should be, so I think this is a good get your money's worth out of a small favorite here. I think we had the odds at Oban at -230, which not knocking his opponent, but I think is a little closer than it should be based on his last performance, especially. So these guys both go to the cards often, even though Oban has shown he can stun people and stagger them. I would say over 1.5 is the sure bet here. I would go with that as your safe bet. I have Oban Elliott 29-28 UD on the cards, baby. Let's get her done.
To the cards we go once again. Excellent stuff, Gage. Taking it on to the next one. Let me just see here. We got my guy, McGhee Gall going up against Ramiz Brahimaj. Sean, please do the honors.
This fight scares me a lot because I'm on a 9-fight correct streak. I'm been on a good streak here, and I have picked the last 3 McGhee Gall fights wrong by picking him. So it's just like one of these has to go. So we're gonna see how this goes. McGhee Gall opened as a favorite, but the lines have already closed up. I think it's a pick 'em now. 7-6, 6 of his 7 wins are submissions. 3-fight losing streak, even though his last fight was a very good fight and he showed some heart. A lot of times with McGhee Gall, you see, like, if he gets in trouble, he kind of almost, it doesn't look good for him. It looks like he's going to get dominated. But last fight he fought, he was behind, and he ended up losing a decision, but it was still a damn good fight. He's 6'2", 74-inch reach, 32 years old, and he's going against Ramiz. Sorry, bud, I'm not going to say your last name. I cannot pronounce that. 10-5, all 10 wins by submissions. 5'10", 72-inch reach, 31 years old. He's 2-3 in the UFC. Lost his last fight by decision. This should be an incredible grappling fight. And if you're one of those guys that you're just a common fan that wants to watch guys striking, this is not your fight. It could happen. Usually when you get 2 great grapplers, sometimes they strike. But both of these guys, even when they fight other grapplers, they're known to try to get the takedowns and the submissions. That's who they are. This should be a really fun grappling game. I would be very surprised if a submission doesn't land in this fight because both of them very good at it. Even though McGhee Gall's all his submissions, I believe, are rear naked chokes. But he does have more in his bag. I'm going to lean towards Ramiz. He does have a bigger bag when it comes to the submission game. He has triangle chokes. He has an arm bar in there. He's not strictly the rear naked choke guy. It's a tough fight. I would say my safest pick would be over 1.5 rounds. I do not think this is a quick finish. I don't see either one getting knocked out. So please don't put money on knockout because neither of these guys knock out anyone. And I think I'm going to go with Ramiz winning I'm going to say submission, and I'll say the third round, but my safest bet would be over 1.5 rounds.
Solid. And I will go ahead and just cover both bases on this one. I'm going to opt in and say Mickey Gall money line on that. So either way, we pick the winner on this one. Let's see here. We have next one. We're just gonna run through real quick and get everybody's quick pick on it. It is the heavyweights: Marcin Tybura versus Jhonata Diniz. This one we did cover a little bit before we started recording. It is a grappler versus striker type of match that I would say. I think that Marcin Tybura, very, very seasoned veteran, been doing it quite a while. Not much he hasn't seen. He's gone up against quite a few strikers, quite a few knockout artists, and been successful. Jhonata Diniz, though, very, very tough outing. Very tough outing. Dude is a knockout machine. This one, odds. Let me just see if I can pull up the current odds on it real quick. The current betting odds per Mr. William Hill have Marcin Tybura at a -130, Jhonata Diniz at a +110. So pretty close. This one, I think, my 100% pick is under 2.5. I think this one's going to be a finish. Sean, let us know who you got for this one.
I agree that I think the safest bet saying under 2.5 rounds. It does, and Tybura does have lightning in his hands too. Any heavyweight does. You don't find a heavyweight with no knockout power, but I'm going to go Tybura getting the win though. I just think when you get a heavyweight that actually is a really good grappler, you got to go with him.
Absolutely. Gage, hit us with it.
We've seen it 1,000 times. Just like when he fought Tai Tuivasa. I'm going to go Marcin by submission, round 2.
I like it. I like where your head's at, baby. Moving right along, that wraps up the early prelim card. Next one up, we are still have yet to get a replacement for David Onama, so we're going to skip right over to back to you, Gage, to let us know about Jim fucking Miller versus Damon Jackson.
So if you look at Damon Jackson's UFC career through 2021 and 2022, he was on a 5-fight win streak and looking poised to become something in the top 15 of the UFC in the division, and just kind of fell off from there. Been very up and down since then for the last 2 years. And he is the favorite against Jim Miller because Jim Miller is 41 years old, as we all know. But Damon Jackson also not young himself. He's 36, I believe, at the time the fight's going to take place. Damon Jackson's whole thing, he is the lesser-known leech. Because there's only one leech that we recognize here. He has shown he will shoot 15 times in a 3-round fight. Jim Miller is not the guy you want to try to shoot on 15 times because he's going to punish you with it. Jim Miller has a great ground game, has won 20 fights by submission, has more submission wins than Damon Jackson does wins. That's not accurate. James Jackson has 26. Jim Miller has 20 submission wins. So don't at me for making a comparison here. I, as a UFC fan, cannot bet against Jim Miller here. I'm going to go over 1.5 again. I'm going to go Jim Miller by submission guillotine because Damon Jackson's going to leave his neck out when he goes for a shot. And I think Jim Miller jumps it and puts him with a guillotine and puts him out. And I will also lock in officially Jim Miller as my dog of the week.
Dog of the week, baby. I like it. Early running. Are we betting on that one? Do we have a bet for it?
Oh yeah, I said over 1.5 for sure. I don't see a world where Jim Miller gets put down in under 2 rounds. You saw it against King Green. The will to fight is still very much alive in Jim Miller.
Absolutely. I dig that. I like it. He opened at a plus 130, currently at a plus 140. So very solid dog. I like that. Next one up, we are going to kick it back downstairs to Sean Ryan Sports. Sean is going to let us know about Chris Weidman versus Eryk Anders.
This is one of the fights that I was not against hearing about for Chris Weidman. Some of the other fights, like against Brad Tavares, I was like, oh, Brad's going to really hurt him coming off the injuries. Like, I wanted him to get like some sort of cupcake fight, but it's the UFC. There is no cupcake fights. That's the thing. Me watching, I remember I was in this little dive bar watching him beat Anderson Silva. And it's just like watching Chris Weidman is like his career and how it all came up. And then he just got like his chin went even. And then obviously the broken leg. So I'm going to give you a little bit of stats, but not really too many on this. Chris Weidman's 16-7, 40 years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach. He's 1-1 since the leg injury. I'm not going to give you his whole UFC career because we're talking about what Chris Weidman is now. He's 1-1 since the leg injury. His last fight was against Bruno Silva, and it was a really weird fight with a lot of eye pokes, man. He could not keep Chris Weidman could not, those old gloves, he could not keep those fingers closed. And they ended up changing him because it was late enough in the fight that he won the first 2 rounds. So they gave him a win instead of a no contest. Eryk Anders, 16-8, 9 KOs, 1 sub, 37 years old, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 8-8-1 in the UFC. This is a veteran fight. These guys have both been around for a while. Obviously, Chris Weidman's been around way longer. He's been around since, I believe, 2012. But Eryk Anders has been around since 2016. So still 8 years in the UFC as a veteran in my book. This is a weird fight. As much as if you look at old Chris Weidman, you would be like, oh, yeah, he's going to take him down. And that would be the situation here. But I don't know how much Chris Weidman can do with that. And that's the factor. Like, we haven't seen him just try to get people to the ground and pound them and maybe get a rear naked choke like he used to. So that's where I think Anders does have the advantage. He is a slight favorite, and he has really good power in his hands, even though he's only had 1 knockout in the last 4 years, and he's had, I think, 4 fights in that time. So it's like he hasn't got that knockout recently, but I think Anders will do enough on the feet. I think you target the leg kicks, you go after Chris Weidman's leg. You saw what happened against Brad Tavares, is just beat the hell out of his leg. And as a fan, you're screaming like you don't want to see this happen. But I'm going to go with Eryk Anders by decision. I'll say 29-28. I think my safe bet would be over 2.5 rounds. I just don't see a finish in this fight.
Yes, I concur. Very, very solid pick on that one, sir. Very solid stuff. Yes, I agree. This is a tough one. These guys have both been doing it. They have been doing it. And that last Chris Weidman fight, dude, such a meme. Poor guy. Part of one of the biggest memes of all time against Anderson Silva, then becomes one himself, and then comes back and just gets memed up again. Man, he's an All-American, folks. He's an All-American. He deserves better. Next one up, I'm going to do the honors for Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGhee. This one, I think, is going to be a pretty exciting fight. Jonathan Martinez at a 19-5 with 9 KO wins, 2 submission wins, 8 decision wins. He is coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Jose Aldo back in May at UFC 301. Prior to that, 6 fight win streak, which included Adrian Yanez, Saeed Nurmagomedov, Cub Swanson, Vince Morales. Very, very solid run that he's been on. Ran into a goat, but it happens. Marcus McGhee, the maniac, 9-1 record, 8 KOs, 1 submission, 100% finish rate. Very, very solid. Coming out of the MMA lab, another team that we have been very, very pleased with. And his last fight against Gaston Bolaños was able to get a TKO, spinning wheel kick and punches is the official record on that one. Prior to that, 5 fight win streak. Prior to that, he had a KO, submission, TKO on this win streak. His only loss was to Rafael do Nascimento, also by finish. Every single one of his fights has ended in a finish. That is quite interesting. These guys, as I said previously, this one, I don't see any world in which this fight makes it the distance, because this one, I think that Marcus McGhee, very heavy-handed striker, very pressure-oriented, gonna stay in your face, not looking to outpoint you. He's looking to get the fight done as soon as possible. Jonathan Martinez, very durable, very well-rounded. He can strike. He can grapple. I think that Jonathan Martinez's avenue for getting the win in this one is going to be to get it to the ground, but it's going to be very difficult because McGhee is solid. He is just built like a brick shithouse, folks. And at that weight too, at 135, very, very unlikely that either of them are going to gas out. So I don't think that he's going to be able to put the pressure back on McGhee and tire him out. This one, I'm looking at the odds, opened at a plus 120 for Jonathan Martinez and a minus 140 for Marcus McGhee. I do have to say that I would agree with that. Currently hasn't moved too much. Marcus McGhee at a minus 145, Jonathan Martinez at a plus 122. So I do like Marcus McGhee in this one. Dude is very exciting. Last fight, this last weekend, we just saw Gaston Bolaños get the win. One of my picks as an underdog. And he was a very solid striker. He was one of the best, as I said before, one of the best Muay Thai strikers in the UFC. Being able to TKO Gaston Bolaños is it's a feather in your cap as a striker, absolutely. And coming out of the MMA lab, training with guys like Sean O'Malley, training with a lot of the guys that are coming out of there, very solid strikers. Kyler Phillips. So Marcus McGhee, I think, getting the finish in this one. I want to say the finish is going to be by a knockout. I don't think he's going to be looking for a submission, but I think that if he gets him dropped, gets him hurt, and the submission presents itself, I would not be surprised if he takes it, but I think he's going to be gunning for the knockout. So official pick, I'm going to go with Marcus McGhee. I'm going to say that this fight is under 2.5 rounds. And I am also going to say that the bet for this fight is fight not to go the distance. Wrapping up the prelims, we are moving on to the main card. Kicking it off, I am also going to do the honors on this one, but it's going to be pretty easy. This is going to be one of the easiest picks that I have ever made. We are starting the main card with Mauricio Ruffy versus James Llontop. Get that banner across the bottom there. If it was not insanely obvious, I am very, very high and mighty on the fighting nerds as of lately. This last card that we just wrapped up saw Carlos Prates do something that does not happen very often and absolutely starch Neil Magny with a very glancing blow, just clipped him and put him completely out flat on his face. Hate to see that happen to Neil Magny, but man, Carlos Prates is a problem. Everybody out of the Fighting Nerds is a very, very serious problem, and I do not see this fight being any different. Mauricio Ruffy at a 10-1 record, all 10 wins by KO TKO. One loss by KO TKO. He is currently rocking a 5-fight win streak. Last fight was a TKO win over Jamie Malarkey. And I don't know if that's going to be plus money, but there's no way that you don't pick KO on this one. KO TKO. Fight not to go the distance. On the other side, James Goku Llontop. He is sporting a 14-4, very respectable record. 7 KO wins for himself, 1 submission win and 6 decision wins. He is on a 2-fight losing streak. Last fight out was in August, a couple months ago. Split decision loss against Vyacheslav Borshev. This one, like I said, not going to be very difficult for me to pick on this one. The opening odds had Mauricio Ruffy at a -950, and currently he is still at a -950. James Llontop at a +625. Now, James Llontop does throw heavy. He is very capable of standing and banging, matching the vibe for Mauricio Ruffy and the Fighting Nerds. But Ruffy is a very, very savvy striker. Very savvy striker. James Llontop, I have picked him a couple times and lost. I do not have anything against James Llontop. He's a very solid fighter. He is capable of getting this one done, but you gotta ride with the Fighting Nerds, baby. You gotta ride with the Fighting Nerds until something happens, until something changes, until they stop doing what they're doing. I'm picking the Fighting Nerds in every single fight from here on out, just to make it easy. I'm going with Mauricio Ruffy by knockout, official pick. The rounds, I'm going under 2.5, my bread and butter. And I'm going to say the bet on this one is... Let me double back and double check on this one real quick. The 10 KO. So I'm gonna say his last fight was a first round KO. Previous to that, 3rd round KO, 2nd round TKO, 1st round TKO, 1st round TKO, 2nd round. I'm gonna say that the bet for this one, I'm gonna go. I actually think the bets, if you're not going to go with the under 2.5, I am willing to throw on Mauricio Ruffy by 1st round knockout. 1st round knockout for Ruffy on that one. Let me see if they have the odds up. They do not have the method of victory up yet. But I will in the graphics. I will let you know what the odds are. I'll do it on the Instagram post. I'm going out on a limb on that one. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm going Ruffy by 1st round TKO. That's got to be some plus money. Bada bing, bada boom. That is going to take us on to our next fight, a women's 125-pound fight. We got number 9, Viviane Araujo versus number 11, Karine Silva. My man Gage is going to let us know what's going to happen in this one. Gage, hit us.
So this is 2 women that are coming off 2 wins. Viviane is coming off a win against Jennifer Maia, who has been doing it for a long time in her own right in regard, coming up with a decision win there. Karine Silva is younger by 7 years. They're relatively, I believe, 1 inch off in reach. Let me double check that before I start getting too deep into this. Yes, there is a 1 inch reach difference. Viviane has 1 inch reach advantage. But that doesn't matter because this fight will take 90% on the ground. Karine Silva is going to suffocate Viviane Araujo, and which is tough because she's been doing it for a long time. Very good fighter. 12-6 record against a 18-4 record. Hard seeing these sunglasses at 10 o'clock at night. I think Karine Silva. My thinking is, can she do enough on the ground to maybe get a submission? She's won 3 out of her 4 UFC fights by submission. Last fight was won by decision against Amanda Lipsky. I'm going to say she does get it done, submission, but safe bet if you want to go safe bet. Fight to go the distance. But I am going to have Karine Silva by 3rd round submission.
3rd round sub, beauty of a pick, my good sir. That pick looks almost as good as you do right now. Next one up, almost. Next one up, we are going to throw it to Sean Ryan Sports. Oh, Sean, I bet you had fun with this one, man. The middleweight fights, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig. Sean, let us know what you got for this one.
I'll give you some of the stats first, but it's a minus 1,000 favorite. So it's one of those. It's like, come on. But Bo Nickel, 6-0, 2 KOs, 4 subs. Perfect. 6 up, 6 down. No seen the distance. 6'1", 28 years old, 76-inch reach. 3-time national champion wrestler at Penn State. Just an absolute freak of nature. Paul Craig, 17-8-1, 4 KOs, 13 subs. All his wins have been by finish. So regardless of this, you're picking not to go to distance. That's for damn sure. 6'3", 36 years old, 76-inch reach. So they have the same reach, but 2-inch height advantage to Paul Craig. 2-fight losing streak, has lost 4 of his last 5. But he does have 2 incredible wins on his belt at 205 pounds. I know this is at middleweight at 185, but he was the first person to beat Jamal Hill. And he also was the first person to beat and the only person to beat Magomed Ankalaev. So can he get crazy upsets? Of course he can. This is one of those guys that's like, if you see an insane line and he's a really big underdog, I mean, you can throw $5 on it. Like, what the fuck? It's not going to hurt because he's done it. He's done it twice before where he was massive underdogs and he's won and he's finished them. Do I think that's going to happen here? No, I think Bo's just too well-rounded on the ground. That's the way that Paul Craig would get the win here, is by a sneaky submission. But Bo Nickel, like I said, way too good on the ground. I think Bo Nickel actually hurts him on the feet in the first round because Paul Craig does not move his head. His head's on a stick. It's just staying still. I think Bo Nickel does hurt him on the feet, gets on top of him, and I think he gets the neck eventually and gets the submission in the first round. The safest bet that is going to be like minus 800 will be fight not to go to distance, but I'll say under 1.5 rounds. And that's still going to probably be minus money, not plus money, unfortunately. But if you want to say fight to end in the first round, that's also a great bet too. So I'm going to say my guarantee bet, Bo Nickel winning, and my other guarantee. There's multiple guarantee bets on this one, minus 1,000 odds. So just letting you know. Bo Nickel winning, fight under 1.5 rounds, fight not going to distance. You can even say fight ending in the first round because I really do believe this is ending in the first round. So any of those you can make as my pick of the week. Do what you want with it.
I like it. That's true. That is one that is very difficult to pick a bet and a lock in there. Sean, if I gave you $1,000 and I said put it on one thing in that fight, what would you lay it on?
Just Bo Nickel winning, I guess. That's
Bo Nickel winning. That's hard to argue with.
Unfortunately, it's a minus 1,000 odds, but it is what it is.
Not getting too much back, but I agree. Most likely,
if you want to toss $5 on Paul Craig, do it. Just because he's done it twice before.
That's true. He
I said that against Kaya Barrio and
yeah, that was.
That's true. He, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he damn near rip Jamal Hill's arm off?
Yeah, it dislocated the elbow, but they counted it as a KO, TKO, not a submission. Weird.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it continued going because he didn't. Yeah, that's an interesting little
it's from the bottom
factoid.
too. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yep,
I
dislocated
forgot
the
about
elbow.
that.
And Jamal kept going.
Yeah, Jamal at the end of the round is just sitting there like, no, I could keep going. While
Yeah, he
was
was
hanging out here. It's like, no, you can't keep going, bud.
That was like a Frank Mir, Tim Sylvia situation where he was like disappointed that it got stopped. But oh man, yeah, that's right. So Paul Craig, dude, I mean, you would think Bo Nickel, get him to the ground, easy win, but Paul Craig he's scary down there. He is scary down there. That's gonna be a sweet fight. I like that one. We have made it to one of two moments of truth. Let me get my game face on for this one, baby. Shout out to Zen. Not a sponsor, just somebody that gets me through the day. So shout out to you, baby. The co-main event of the evening. This is one that I personally have wanted to happen for ever since the first one happened. I've had a bitter taste in my mouth ever since then. It's a very difficult fight because I cannot love these guys any more than I do. And I feel like I'm not alone on that one. We have number 2 ranked Charles Du Bronx Oliveira versus number 7 Michael Iron Mike Chandler. Whew. This fight, guys, this fight. I always say it, the UFC does right by me on my birthday week. Every single time my birthday card rolls around, there is at least one fight that I know they put on there just for me. This one, I feel, is the one that they reached back and said, you know what? It's Drew's birthday. We're going to let him have this one. Not a fight I think anybody was really, really looking forward to, given that Charles Oliveira has been the perennial number 1, number 2 contender for ever since he lost the belt. And Michael Chandler has been sitting out waiting for that red panty night via the Conor McGregor fight, which did not materialize. And disappointing, I feel like, you know, either way you dice it, I feel like I've wanted to see Charles Oliveira get a title shot by now, and I also wanted to see the Chandler versus Conor fight by now. Neither of those have happened, so let's put them together and make some fireworks, baby. Charles Oliveira at a 34-10 record with 10 KOs, 21 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. He is coming off of a split decision loss to Arman Tsarukyan at UFC 300. Prior to that, TKO win over Beneil Dariush. Prior to that, lost the belt to Islam Makhachev in 2022 via submission. But prior to that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fight win streak with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 finishes. Bro. A very common saying. Gage, can you let us know what all of our homies in the fight pit do?
It's not just the homies in the fight pit, it's all the homies love Charles.
All of the homies worldwide, nationwide, internationally, galaxy-wide, all of the homies love Charles Oliveira. And that is a fact. That is a fact.
How could you not? Like, just as a person, look at the dude.
If there's anybody watching this right now, anybody at all, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, if you do not love Charles Oliveira, please let yourself be known. Send us a message. Send me location. I will smash. I will personally come and punch you in the fucking nose if you do not love Charles Oliveira. This fight, though. This
is not a negotiation. This is factual.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're on the East Coast, even better. You get Gage and Sean coming to handle you, and they're going to be wearing sunglasses at night, and it's not going to affect them at all. You are getting stomped the F out, bro. Stomped out. On the other side of it, my guy, a guy that I love just right there, almost as much as Charles. Michael Chandler, 23-8 with 11 KOs, 7 submission wins, 5 decision wins. He last fought in November 2022. That was also a birthday card for me. It was the day after my birthday that year, against Dustin Poirier. In the UFC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in the UFC. He's 2-3. Now, this is where I hate debating with the casuals. I hate debating with people on this, because you look at a 2-3 record and you think this guy's doing terrible. He's a bust. He's a lop. There's no way that this guy stays in the UFC. But we are talking about Iron Mike Chandler here, folks. His fights include Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier. If there's any of those names that I listed that you don't know, you are in the wrong place. He has fought nothing but the top of the tops since he got here. He is not here for a long time. He's here for a good time, and he is looking to make money. He's looking to put on exciting fights. He's looking to leave his legacy. He's looking to make a dent in the record books. And I just cannot love that anymore. I cannot love it anymore. I was a big fan of his ever since he was in Bellator. When he was in Bellator and Eddie Alvarez came over, I was very upset. I feel like they should have brought Michael Chandler over too. I feel like we lost out on a lot of really good fights over the years with him staying in Bellator. But I get it. It's business. You got to do what you got to do. He's here now, and he has been making up for lost time, let me tell you. Now, when you see 2-3 record, you got to take into account that the 3 losses he has against Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and Charles Oliveira, top 3 in the division for the longest time. He had moments where he was a split second away from winning all of those fights, and people fail to recognize that. People fail to mention that when they're talking about his record. Michael Chandler has by no means been walked through by anybody. Being able to do what he's done against the people that he's done it against is something I think definitely needs to be taken into account. I'm going to say this one, as much as I love Charles, I gotta go Chandler on this one, because the money is just too good. The money is too good. The opening odds on this one had Charles Oliveira at a -265, Michael Chandler at a +215. Currently, the odds are sitting at it's still the same, hasn't moved. -265 for Charles Oliveira, +215 for Michael Chandler. Now, I am willing to eat it. I do know that Charles Oliveira did take the first one. I do understand why he is such a heavy favorite, and I will not be surprised one single bit if he's able to make this look like a walk in the park. Michael Chandler's had a 2-year layoff, but if you follow Michael Chandler, man, Michael Chandler never stops training. He's never not ready. He's good to go at all times. So I don't think that layoff is going to play too much into it. In fact, I think Michael Chandler is going to have a little bit of a fire lit up under his ass. I think that he's got some time to make up for. I feel like he was very close to winning that Charles Oliveira fight the first time and becoming the lightweight champion in his second UFC fight. That's something that will get you up in the morning, guys. Let me tell you, that is something that will get you motivated. And Michael Chandler is not one for lack of motivation. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to say Michael Chandler. I'm going money line on that one. I think this fight, if you're going to bet on it, fight not to go the distance, it's going to be stupid odds. You're not going to make any money on that, because this one is going to be a finish either which way. I'm going to say Michael Chandler by TKO, and I am willing to eat it. But they're 2 guys that I love. Yeah, they already got one for Oliveira. I gotta give one to Michael Chandler on this one. Gage, let us know who you got in this one, brother.
Anyone want to take a guess where I'm going? Anyone?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that you might be leaning towards Oliveira.
Nah, I mean, what gave it away?
I'm just a shot in the dark.
Yeah, as much as I would have seen like Michael Chandler come back to the UFC and have a great win, he's just going against Charles. I would love to see him fight Dustin. I would love to see him fight Justin Gaethje again. Just not Charles. Because Charles is getting older. He's got really, I think, one more push to try and get the belt again. Barring some other Glover Teixeira type late age rejuvenation. Michael Chandler, great grappling, great wrestler. Wild with his hands, but his gas tank is just infinite. As Drew said, if you follow him anywhere, dude's always in the gym, super motivated. If you wake up to your Michael Chandler motivation in the morning, just let me know. It's so tough because it was a classic Charles Oliveira script. Michael Chandler hurt him super bad in the first round, but then it's just Charles Oliveira just coming back like nothing happened and then putting Michael Chandler down. It's script over and over again. Charles gets hurt, make opponent does something, pressures too hard or the round ends, and then Charles ends up winning. We've seen it. Just look at Beneil Dariush. Beneil hurt Charles. Charles pulled guard. Beneil went into the guard, and Charles won. My thing is, I think Michael Chandler is going to be Michael Chandler. He's going to stand. Charles is a big shooto box guy. Does have phenomenal hands. Will stand and strike. But I think Charles gets hurt again, and Michael Chandler being super aggressive will go into that guard because he's a good grappler. And I just don't think you want to be in the ground with Charles Oliveira. Asked however many people he submitted. It's over 20. I think he's got the most UFC submission wins in history. I think this is going to be – is this a 5-round fight before I go into the bet picks?
I do believe so, yes.
Oh, jeez.
How the hell do they even try to schedule this for 5 rounds?
I will. You can keep going. I'll try to confirm that.
If it's a 5-round fight, under 2.5 here. If it's a 3-round fight, I'm going to go under 1.5. I'm going to go arm triangle here.
Sean, we are split. Let us know. Let us know which way we're leaning.
I do want to piggyback off something you said, Drew, like about the 2-3 record. If you look at all 3 of those fights, you had Dustin Poirier say after the fight, if he knew how to throw a straight, he had me out of there. Justin Gaethje says he doesn't remember like 20 seconds of that fight. He was just backing up and somehow throwing hands with Michael Chandler. And then if you watched Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler the first time, it was maybe the greatest 6-minute fight you've ever watched. That unbelievable. So 2 and 3 don't mean shit. The guy can compete with anyone. It's a bull in a china shop for the first 5 minutes, no doubt about it. And he can go 15 minutes, 25. There's no way. he would be, if there's a 4th round, he's done. He's done. He'll be completely gassed. Then you have Charles Oliveira, 20 finishes in UFC. That's a record. 16 submissions in UFC. That's a record. And I think he's at 23 or 24 wins, 23 wins in the UFC, if I'm correct. So only 3 of his wins have not been a finish. And I do believe he won the Arman Tsaroukian fight. I know that's a different debate, but Arman Tsaroukian was out. So this is a really tough one. I say my guarantee, like my pick, what I would say, if you want to make some money on this, and I do believe this 100%, this fight's ending in the first round. I don't even think we see a second round. How these guys are both going to come right to the middle of the octagon, throw hands. One of them's going to get hurt badly, And I think whoever does go down is the one that's going out. So if it's like the first fight, I think Michael Chandler will learn what he had to do different. Instead of going guard, he has to try to get behind him and and that's your best bet. Islam got on top of his back and got the choke that way. Like you can't just go on guard with him, like Gage was saying. You have to somehow figure it out, or just ground and pound. Just keep throwing. And I think Michael Chandler is going to be the one getting this done. I don't believe that people say ring rust. It's like, yeah, ring rust is when you're like a technical style fighter. He's a bull in a china shop. Guess what a bull in a china shop is going to be 2 years later? The same goddamn thing. So Michael Chandler is going to come in there throwing it. And I do think he clips Charles, and I think he's going to learn from his mistake, and it will be a first-round finish for Michael Chandler.
Let's fucking go, baby. And just, I don't know if this changes anything for you guys. Feel free to chime in if there are any alterations you want to make to the picks, but it is, in fact, confirmed a 5-round fight per Dana White. So this one is a 5-round co-main event. Absolutely.
That won't be needed. That will not be needed.
If this fight goes 5 rounds, I will I don't know what I'll do. I'll watch all 5 rounds, but I will be quite surprised. Yeah. I will be quite surprised.
If it's 5 rounds, it might be the greatest fight ever. Like, these two are
just if it goes 5 rounds, I will buy every single person on this panel a ticket to UFC Miami in December.
Let's go. Well, unfortunately, we are not going to get to go to Miami in December, folks. But it is very sweet, very, very kind gesture of you, Gage. But yeah, so I think we are unanimous. Do we want to lock in a unanimous round? Do we want to say like under 2.5, under 3.5? Under 2.5. Sean, you good with that one?
Yeah, because I have it first round finish, so we could say under 2.5.
Nice. So we will lock in unanimous under 2.5 rounds for the official pick on that one, since we're split. And now we have made it to the main event for UFC 309. We got the undisputed heavyweight championship on the line for this one. It is Jon Bones Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Jon Bones Jones sporting a 27-1 asterisk record with 10 KO wins, 7 submission wins, 10 decision wins, 1 no contest, of course. Last fight for Jon Jones was March of last year, 2023, where he defeated Cyril Gane in 2 minutes by submission. I don't need to rattle off what he's been up to prior to that. We all know. He has been dominant from the get-go. Stipe Miocic, 20-4 record, 15 KO wins, 5 decisions. His last fight was in 2021, a KO loss to Francis Ngannou in their rematch. But once again, I don't think I need to tell you too much more than that. He's the heavyweight GOAT. He's the heavyweight GOAT for a reason. He has been there. He has done that. He has only lost to Daniel Cormier and Francis Ngannou since 2014. So in the last 10 years, he has lost to 2 heavyweights, Ngannou and Daniel Cormier. Arguably 2 of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Arguably might be 2 GOATs when it's all said and done. I think DC is definitely a GOAT. But we got Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, folks. It's happening as of right now. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. We are we've been looking forward to this one. Jon Jones, notably coming off of a I believe it was a pec tear or some sort of pec injury. They covered it a little bit on the UFC countdown. Go check that out. But not until you're done watching this. This one, I would say again, I'm going to have to go under 2.5, even though it's a 5-round fight. I don't see this one going the distance. Very, very, I think that the odds of it is a little bit more likely, given that Jon Jones later on in his career has become more of a decision fighter, more of a smart fighter, not 100% full bore going for the finish at all times. I think that fight against Ciryl Gane, I think that the finish just presented itself in the position that he was able to get Ciryl Gane down to the ground on that one. I don't think that he was looking really for a submission at that point. I think it just presented itself and he took it, which can't blame him at all, especially against someone like Ciryl Gane. Very heavy-handed, very top-notch kickboxer at heavyweight, very scary individual if you're striking against him at heavyweight. Heavyweights can put you out at any time. So solid win, but I personally feel like we didn't get to really see Jon Jones at heavyweight in that one. I don't think that we got to see too much of heavyweight Jon Jones. I don't think that was a very good indicator of how he's going to fare against Stipe Miocic, but he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He is the greatest fighter of all time as of right now, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. I'll let Sean, I'll let you start us off on this one. Go for it.
No, I'm not picking Stipe. Unfortunately, I would love to tell you guys, hey, there's some plus money to be made. It is Jon Jones, but I will give you something that I believe will be plus money. I think fight does go to distance. This isn't Ciryl Gane that has zero grappling. This is a guy that's a Gold Glove boxer, and this is a guy that went 5 rounds with Daniel Cormier and 4 rounds with Daniel Cormier, and Daniel shot a total of, I think, 10 takedowns or 9 takedowns in those 2 fights. And this is a guy that was an Olympic wrestler. He is not someone you can just hold down and grapple and submit. And on the feet, once again, Gold Glove boxer, was able to stand with a bunch of these guys. And he's taken off time. People are like, oh, ring rust. This is another guy. Ring rust isn't a thing with Stipe Miocic, and definitely with the heavyweights in general, because a lot of times the heavyweights, you got to take more time off. You're not going to get a heavyweight fighting 3 times a year. I feel that this will be a lot more strategic of a fight. I think this is going to be a lot more like a Thiago Santos versus Jon Jones fight, where it's going to be a lot more standing. I think Jon will try to get a couple takedowns, but he's not going to stay down. And I believe that I think Jon's going to win pretty fairly. I'm going to say 49-46. It'll be pretty dominant, but I do believe this will be going distance. If you want to make a more safer bet, over 3.5 rounds. Over
3.5. I like it. I had a feeling that it was coming. Because it's just, like I said, later in Jon Jones' career, man, he's a smarter fighter. He's a smarter fighter, you know. He's not the up-and-comer looking to make a name anymore. He's got the name. That's what everybody aspires to. So very, very solid pick. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Gage, let us know what you got for this one, brother.
If this fight was, say, 5 years ago, this would be one of the greatest fights we've ever seen ever. So I wish we can have an inkling of what that potential might have been. Stipe's been a fireman for 3 years. I don't know how much he's trained, but he did get more training time in with Jon Jones' injury. And I think that's going to be a big help. Jon Jones isn't heavyweight weight. He himself said he stands at around 220, walking around. Stipe walks around at probably 260. It's so hard to try and get a feel for this fight, but we all had that when Jon was fighting Ciryl Gane. Will it be the same Jon Jones? What are we going to get? And then we got 30 seconds of Jon Jones, and we're just like, oh, it's okay, cool. He's still Jon Jones. No matter what age he is, no matter what weight class he is, he's just still Jon Jones. And I don't think he's going to stop being Jon Jones anytime soon. So, unfortunately, Stipe, I think you're just a couple 2 years too late to be fighting the Bones himself, the GOAT. I have plenty to say about Jon Jones ducking Tom, the legacy thing, and what he said, that, he's seen guys come and go, and I don't think we're going to see Tom Aspinall go anywhere for a while. But that's just a casual fan opinion, I guess. I think Stipe will give Jon a good fight up until round 2 and late round 2. I just think the pressure from Jon and what he throws at someone is different. And I don't know how much Stipe really wants to go to war at this point. He's taking a long layoff. And you don't know what his mindset is going into this. He's done it all. He is the GOAT in his own regard. And he's beaten many of people's GOAT. Drew said it with DC twice. DC is hard kept off some Mount Rushmores on UFC. I gotta go Jon Jones. I gotta go Jon Jones. TKO and 12-6 elbow in true fitting fashion in a full circle moment with his one loss. So it'll be a full circle moment. He's gonna ground and pound Stipe to death with elbows.
Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine? That would be the greatest thing that's ever happened. If Jon Jones TKOs Stipe with 12-6 elbows, that's a movie. That is a movie, bro. That is a straight movie. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I like it. I cannot disagree, man. It is very difficult for me to pick in this one too, because I got to think that Stipe at heavyweight, having all this time to recover. A lot of people talk about his last fight being the KO from Francis Ngannou. He's had 4 years to recover from that. And I gotta think that he's gotten smart. I gotta think that he's been smart about it. I gotta think that he's been taking care of himself. Yes, very solid point. He is a firefighter. He does have a life outside of fighting that is very respectable. Absolutely. Shout out to all first responders and veterans. Happy Veterans Day. But this, man, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people are thinking. The odds, they got Jon Jones at a minus 750 currently, Stipe at a plus 525. I'm not mad at anybody that lays on that 525 for Stipe. I'm not mad at it at all, because you never know. You never know. If anybody's going to beat Jon Jones at heavyweight, I think Stipe has the absolute best chance outside of one Francis Ngannou. But I'm going to say that this fight goes over 1.5. For the sake of a pick, I'm going to say Jon Jones by submission. But this I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm going to throw it on a couple parlays. I'm going to drop Stipe in there on a dog parlay. It's very difficult to pick on this one. I'm going to say it goes over 1.5, though. I do think that it's most likely going to end in a finish if Jon Jones is able to establish a dominant position on the ground. Going to be very difficult. Stipe is a wrestler. Stipe is a very good wrestler. He's handled other very good wrestlers. And Daniel Cormier caught him. I don't know if Jones will be able to catch him. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But I say for the sake of a pick, I'm going to go over 1.5. I think it makes it at least that far. I don't think Jon Jones is going to be able to, 2-minute submit Stipe in this one. I think Stipe's got a lot more to offer on that one. That takes us on to the final segment. We're going to wrap it up, give you our official picks. But first, we got to get the lock and dog of the week. Now, we already have Jim Miller in as one dog, Michael Chandler in as a second dog. Sean, can you let us know who our third dog of the week is going to be, if any?
Yeah, I'm going to go Michael Chandler. That's who I picked him, and he's in a big. He's pretty decent underdog too. So that's my dog of the week.
2-1, you're getting 215 on the dollar with Chandler, and I believe a 140. Yeah, currently a plus 140 for Jim Miller. So, dog. Also, I would say Stipe money line. If you, like I said, anybody that throws that on in there, I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to make it an official lock or an official dog, but you got to sprinkle. You got to sprinkle. Everybody loses eventually. Will we see it? I don't know. Will Jones keep fighting? I don't know. But if you are taking Stipe, I'm not hating. Locks. I do not feel comfortable going with Jon Jones, even though he's a minus 750. My lock, I'm going to say either Mauricio Ruffy or Bo Nickel. I think whichever one we get the majority pick on this one is what I'm going to go with. I'm throwing Ruffy and Nickel out there. Gage, who do you like for the lock, my brother?
I don't want to say Bo Nickel just because you just never know with Paul Craig, man. You just never know. I also can't go Jon Jones because Stipe is
the heavyweight goat.
He's the heavyweight goat, man. Like, yeah, that's why Jon Jones wants to fight Stipe, but you know. So I just can't because you don't know. Because if you get the same Stipe that fought DC twice, like, all right, John, like, yeah, you beat DC too, but now you're 30 pounds lighter than the person you're facing, and that person has just as good as well-rounded game as you.
Yeah.
So I got to go Mauricio Ruffy as my lock. I have to.
Ruffy, beauty. Sean, who do you like?
I'm going Ruffy also. Just having Paul Craig he's a weird anomaly. He really is. And then, like Gage said, you have like Jon Jones versus Stipe. And I was just looking at Stipe's stats. It's like he's never been submitted in his career. And he's only been finished by KO 3 times. It's like the dude's going to fight, and he always brings it. So it's like you can't count out the man. So it's like there's only one. You got to go with the nerds on this one. You got to go with the nerds. Yep.
Fighting nerds, baby. Fighting nerds forever. Revenge of the Nerds. Dang it, that was one I was going for too. Revenge of the Nerds. So we got the dog picks, Jim Miller and Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler currently at a plus 215, Jim Miller at a plus 140. If you parlay both of those, you're looking at a plus 656 money back. And Mauricio Ruffy currently at a minus 950. So the rounds on that over 1.5 is at a minus 170. I think that you could probably get the under 1.5 at plus 130 on that. I would not be surprised one bit. But there you go, folks. UFC 309. It is a wrap. I appreciate everybody for subscribing, everybody for tuning in, everybody for supporting us, riding with the picks. We've been doing pretty well. We just swept the last fight night. I believe that is 3 of the last 4 fight nights in a row. We have swept the main card with all of our picks. All of our official picks are hitting. Locks and dogs. Last one was tough because our dog pick was Cody Garbrandt. Prior to that was Derek Lewis. They both fell out. So dogs have been dropping like flies, but our locks are hitting. So make sure you are tuned in. The official picks, official pick. Bring. There you go. There you have it. That is the money. That is the money, folks. Do with that what you will. It is going to be a sweet card. Thank you, UFC, for always making my birthday card worthwhile. Appreciate you. Any final parting words, gentlemen?
I hope that if Jon Jones wins this fight, he doesn't call out Alex Pereira. That is bad for two divisions. That is really bad for two divisions. Both
Pretty
guys
bad
have
for
enough.
John Jones too.
It's bad for Alex Pereira too. He has a
Watch-
#1 contender.
I hope that if he does call out Alex, it's going to be at light heavyweight. That I'd like.
Yes. Thank goodness for that.
John Jones, if you really want to like do legacy shit, then become a double champ at the same time. Do it. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you get Alex, who's your same age. Okay. If you want to make that a big gripe. Alex is same age as you. You both walk around at the same weight, apparently. And we'll see if you can enact your I'll just wrestle Alex Pereira like everyone says, and then you stand and bang with him and get put out. Or you're John Jones and you do what you want. But stop ducking Tom, because you are ducking Tom.
Yep. 100%.
100%. And that's been my, every time people bring up that legacy and everything too, that's always been my argument is
because there is one heavyweight champ and it's not fighting Saturday. It's not fighting Saturday.
Very true. Very true. Everything that John Jones is looking to do, winning the heavyweight belt after being the light heavyweight champion, DC already did it. DC did it simultaneously. He also defended both belts. He knocked out Stipe Miocic. He's done everything that John Jones is looking to do for his legacy. DC's already done. So you got to come fresh. You got to come original. You got to beat Tom Aspinall. You got to be a double champ by beating Alex Pereira. You got to do something new, baby. You got to do something new.
But
legacy.
To be fair, I will say if John does beat Alex and or steps up and fights Tom and beats Tom, I don't see an argument other than it's John Jones. Dana White, you got it right. Your internet campaign of glazing John Jones. It turns out you were right.
That baby oil, man. A lot of baby oil.
Oh, dude, he is in baby oil debt at this point. Let me tell you, there is a lot of baby oil waiting for that man.
He left a couple crates that he ain't using right
now. Oh, please do not let Dana White be on the list. Please, Lord, please do not.
Hey, we got Dana in the White House coming. Watch it. Yep.
It's an interesting time, folks. Interesting time. Great time for a John Jones fight too. Could not pick better timing. And if you guys have followed us for long enough, you remember our very first interview. If, God forbid, knock on wood, if anything should happen to Stipe Miocic and he is unable to fight, I am throwing the name in the hat right now. Peyton Talbot on short notice against John Jones at MSG. You heard it here first. He called it over a year ago. And if that does happen, all of the money that I have in this world, I'm putting on Peyton Talbot because he is the future. It's been real. Thank you guys so much for chilling with me on my birthday. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. That is it, folks. We have covered the entire UFC 309 card, top to bottom. You can check out our picks. Subscribe to the Fight Pit on YouTube. House Call Sports, the official Fight Pit on Instagram. You got all of our tags. You got all of our picks. You got everything that you need for this card. That's a wrap. We out. Peace.